She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy Gazpacho.
Sports can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Advice, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the talkies. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm not even gonna comment on that. Welcome back to Footy with the Boys. We are here with a full breakdown of Manchester City versus Chelsea, a battle of the top six. And I don't want to waste any time because this was a game that we want to talk about. Nick, I will start with you. Chelsea, I'm going to be completely honest, seemed like they had a lot of chances on the one-on-one to beat Manchester City here. It ends in a 1-1 draw with a Rodri late goal. It almost seemed inevitable, but from a Man City perspective, I don't know how you feel about this. It's a Big Six matchup that you end up in a draw. You never want to say that you're against a draw in a Big Six matchup, but is this a disappointment for Man City with how crazy good a form they've been in lately?
How do you feel about this if you're Man City? You feel fucking horrible about this if you're Man City. Are you kidding me? Chelsea has been awful all season, and for Man City, a team that with a win from this game goes top of the table. I mean, this is a huge missed opportunity. This was before the Liverpool game. They would have been clear. And I mean, this is drop points in a title race that is incredibly close at the moment, which we are all favoring City in because of the players like De Bruyne and like Erling Haaland that they have. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You play the game on the pitch, not on paper. And Erling Haaland dropped an absolute fucking stinker today, boys. Thank God that team is not only centered around him, because if they were, they would not have gotten anything out of this game. Rodri, as soon as that Rodri goal went in, Mike immediately texted a group chat, inevitable. And I was like, I was, God damn it. But yeah, I mean, Rodri saves them with the point late. City created a buttload of chances that Holland just could not finish. He had about 4 free headers in this game that he should have put away, and he didn't. So if you're City, you feel awful. You know that there's quality on those other two teams, even though you are the deserved favorite. But there's no chance that you're feeling good about points dropped to a Chelsea team that, with this result, sneaks into 10th in the Premier League. I mean, Big Six side? I don't know. You tell me, Mike.
Mike, I
Chelsea-
think we said last week, Chelsea had nothing to fucking lose. If they went into this game and absolutely dropped a stinker, lost by a bunch, that's what's expected with Man City in this form. But they come out with a draw. But I think they might be disappointed. They had a lot of one-on-one chances. I think Nico Jackson will be a bit upset at how he performed with not being able to finish them off. And certainly they were able to create a lot more than I thought they would. Is Chelsea at all disappointed in this result, or do you think this is a result that, you know, they can build off of? They got to win their last game, a draw against Manchester City, who are certainly a title favorite with Kevin De Bruyne back. Do you think this is something they can build off of here with Pochettino?
Yeah, those options you gave me aren't mutually exclusive by any means. They could be both disappointed and taking this as a building block. I think they will, because yeah, they had chances to win this game. They had chances to score that they didn't take. But at the same time, they know that Man City had chances. They know that Man City dominated the ball and could have won this game. So I think there's multiple ways to look at this from a Chelsea perspective. Going in, I'll give you my thoughts on Chelsea here. The biggest things I saw. I'm going to start with Moises Caicedo, the $100 million man in the midfield. He could have been sent off this game, and he could have been sent off early. He had two fucking fouls that were both deserving of a yellow card. One did get a yellow card. The other was kind of waved off by the referee. Hey, it's early in the game. Yeah, that's a bad one, but I'll give you a little bit of slack here. So he was lucky to stay around. I'll be really honest with you. But the scoring chances, they played their game plan well here. They stuck behind the ball. They put numbers behind the ball. They knew exactly what Man City was going to do, because everybody knows what Man City's going to do. They're going to dominate the ball. They're going to take the chances when they're there, and they're going to look for Erling Haaland when he's on the field. That happened, and they know when this happens, when Man City's dominating the ball, when it's being passed from wing to wing, back into the midfield, back to the center backs, they're going to be high up the field, and we have pace up top. We have Nicholas Jackson, we have Raheem Sterling. We can get behind at moments, and they did. They got behind several times, and several times early. Nicholas Jackson fluffed his fucking lines. He's one on one with Ederson, and he takes an absolute stutter step, bad touch right into him. Should have scored. Should have put him up one
He's a
zero
striker,
early.
bro.
He's a
He is
striker.
not a striker.
Yes. He's
No,
best off the
he's a
wing.
winger at best.
He is. He is. His
I
best position is off the wing. That's what he's played most of his career. He's been fucking reintroduced as a striker in this Chelsea team. Hasn't worked that effectively. He scored a few goals against smaller teams, but it's a bad program. Let's be honest here. Raheem Sterling could have scored before he scored his goal. Took his goal nicely, but he had a chance against Kyle Walker, who's looked really poor in 1v1 defending situations recently. I'll say that. Great player, but looks like he's losing a step possibly. And he curled it a little close. Ederson gathered it. So there's chances there. Nick said it. Man City had their chances as well. Erling Haaland misses at least 2 header situations where he should be finding the back of the net with his high standards. Probably more. You're right. So the goals are there for the taking. They don't capitalize, which is what we've said about Chelsea all season. They're lacking a clinical finisher in the box. And they don't have one in the squad right now. Broja's out of the team. He wasn't the clinical finisher. Let's be honest here. Nicholas Jackson's your best option. Playing Cole Palmer as a false 9. These are not long-term solutions. So that's really what I thought about Chelsea's performance. Other things, Malagusto, hell of a performance. Locked down Jeremy Doku most of the game. Jeremy Doku has looked really disappointing the last couple of games. People seem to have figured out his style of play. He's going to fake left and go right, cut with that one move that he has. He's got a lot of pace, but it's pretty easy to nullify when you have bodies back. They kind of look like they needed Jack Grealish with his passing abilities that Jeremy Doku lacks. So hell of a performance from him. They took their opportunities well, just weren't clinical. Pochettino had a good game plan. And I like Chelsea's prospects of moving forward, moving up this ladder. Because if you look at the teams directly in front of them, West Ham by a point. West Ham has looked fucking miserable these last couple of weeks. They lost to a Nottingham Forest team who has not been impressive, and they lost to them by a 2-goal margin, where they didn't look like they had a sniff of scoring a goal. So, yeah, they can move up. They could leap
Newcastle
West
looks
Ham.
shit.
They can leap Newcastle, who tied Bournemouth 2-2, and Brighton with a good performance against a shit team. They could possibly leap them too. I don't think a European Conference League or Europa League spot is off the table for Chelsea at the moment.
Yeah, I think European dreams for Chelsea is not at all a crazy thought. And Nick, I might be a little bit crazy here, and I know we have talked a lot about how shit Chelsea have looked at certain points of the year, or maybe more so how disappointing they've gotten results in. But if you look at how they performed, Disasi has performed great in this game versus Man City. Malagusto, amazing in this game, shutting down
Baller.
Doku. Levi Colwell has shown amazing promise. Ben
Eh,
Chilwell, when healthy, is great. Obviously, you have Reece James on the bench, but I don't want to mention him. But you do have Enzo and Moises in the midfield that, if Moises can get back to his Brighton form, is a person to kind of fuck with. He is something else when he's on form. And then you have Cole Palmer and Raheem Sterling that are both players that can show up. If you improve that number 10 spot and that striker spot, which they already have Christopher Nkunku, you are not far off from what I think is a very good side. Obviously, Petrovic in net from MLS has been performing pretty decent in net there for them. Is it crazy for me to say they're not far off from a Tottenham, from a Manchester United? I don't think they're that far off, and like that seems a
oh,
bit crazy. They're in 10th, but is that, I mean, am I fucking crazy for that?
you just said they're not that far off, and then named 2 joke clubs in Tottenham and Man U. So sure, they're
From
not that
that
far off
position,
from
from that position.
they're not that far off from 5th and 6th. But as you're going through all those names there, all I kept hearing was a bunch of people who don't fit in the spots that they're supposed to be playing for this Chelsea team. Moises Caicedo is not a straight out and out 6. He's just not. and he's being asked to play that in his role. He is a bombarding, a physical tackler, but to ask him to be in that sitting role that Poch is having him to do is not his game, and we see it because there's lapses in concentration all the time with him. So I don't understand that. And Kunku and Palmer are probably your two best players, and it's impossible to fit both of them into this team right now just because of the intensity that's needed in the Premier League. You can't have both of those guys and their defensive liabilities with the amount of pressing up front that's going on right now. So, I mean, there's Raheem Sterling gets the goal today, misses his chances also to probably get more, but rumors are he's on his way out as well. Alex Disasi deserves credit, Malo Gusto deserves credit, but there's a lot of things on this team that seems like it just doesn't fit to me. And surprise, surprise, when you spend $1 billion in a transfer window, two transfer windows, like those pieces aren't going to fit usually. And it's because it's just way too much going on into a new team. Some pieces are getting integrated. Again, Desasi and Gusto were ballers. Gusto, especially, I think, really impressed me. Shout out to me of having him on my team of the season, where some men laughed. But I think I think these dudes, sure, are they close to sixth or seventh? Maybe. Can they compete in a game with Man U or Tottenham? Maybe. I mean, you're happy that they get a draw against Man City. You're happy that they get a draw against Arsenal. But isn't this a team that won the fucking Champions League not that long ago? Like this is not the aspirations of this club, and they're still very far off of where they should be.
But Nick, I think if Chelsea finishes some of those chances, they had so many one-on-ones, and I understand that Erling Haaland was not necessarily clinical today. But if Chelsea finished some of the one-on-ones, and I've seen this all year, they create so many one-on-ones and good chances. If they just get somebody like we see with a Manchester United, where Hoyland has all of a sudden found form and he starts finishing those chances that he's getting rather than fucking them up. If Nico Jackson or if any striker they have, a Cuckoo that get put in, if they start finishing those chances, quite literally, I think Chelsea is on a fire streak straight up that table because they are creating the chances. They are just not at all finishing them. Is it not a maybe a worrying sign for Man City and a very good sign for Chelsea that they are really just missed chances away from beating a team like a Manchester City that on the form they're on, that would be a hell of a result, more than I think any other team that Chelsea could beat as a statement for them.
The only worrying sign for Man City is that world class Phil Foden is best at passing backwards. That's their biggest fucking
Oh
worrying
my
sign. Meanwhile,
god.
meanwhile, certain men over here are scoring braces back to back weeks, but we'll save that conversation for later. Either way, I'm not. I mean, City missed a buttload of chances too. So if you want to say that Chelsea missed chances, I think City missed more. De Bruyne put two very clear ones on Holland's plate, and there were other ones that Holland should have finished as well. I Again, you just said a whole lot of ifs right there in your question to me, and the problem with that is that's just not the reality. So I don't see Chelsea being close to what they need. Is someone like, even if you're saying like a striker, bringing a striker, Mike, do you think someone like Victor Osimhen is looking at this Chelsea project and being like, yeah, I want part of it?
I think he does. I think
For
he
the
would.
No
money, for
shot.
sure.
No
For the
shot.
money, for sure. For the money, for
Yeah.
sure.
No shot.
I
Napoli's
think
not what
he's
they were.
Okay, Napoli's not, but every other team that's chasing him is.
I it depends what his options are. So if the Arsenal rumor is legitimate, if they have the money for it and they're willing to do it, yeah, that's
SG.
preferable over Chelsea at the moment. PSG is iffy because how crowded that attacking line is. Mbappe moves out, but it's still not a natural fit playing off the left wing there. He probably starts over Gonzalo Ramos. I don't know. But I don't think Chelsea's a bad fit for him. He knows what they've done recently. He probably likes their prospects moving forward, and he would like the paycheck for fucking sure, as anybody would. So yeah, I don't rule that out. But as you said, for City being worried here, yeah, they're worried. I looked at a picture or a post recently today. It was about City's performance against the top six teams this year. And aside from a 3-0 victory over Manchester United, they've been pretty poor. Two ties against Chelsea. They tied them 4-4 earlier this season that we haven't mentioned yet. So they're conceding 4 against a team that we're saying is not all that prolific because they're not. But conceding 4 goals is conceding 4 goals. We
Don't
can't
get my
say
hopes up.
anything different.
Stop it.
Exactly. Um, Last thing I'll say about Chelsea, good performance. Nick's right. few of these players are not in the correct position and couldn't be played effectively together. That's for sure true. Moises Caicedo is not a true six. He's not a dude who's going to sit deep, recycle the ball, play as a pivot man because those are not his strong suits. I don't know if they look for another option at six or if they try to make it work because Enzo is not a natural six either. Um, Interesting to see. Do they have a world class player in their squad? I don't think
No,
so.
not even close.
I said,
Their best
I
player right now is
want
Conor Gallagher.
that
Conor
is
Gallagher,
that's
hell of
a
a season.
fucking
Hell of a season.
he is in some good form. I would not say he's their best player. I want to close on this, but first I do want to just make a bit of a mention to this. Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar will have left PSG without a single transfer fee for any of them. That seems wild. So Victor Osimhen, whoever you may think might be going to PSG, the FIFA financial fair play that's going on over there is absolutely ridiculous with all those three players leaving, a front three of Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe winning nothing, and then all of them going for free is wild. But the final question that I want you to answer for our listeners today is where do you expect Manchester City by the end of the season and Chelsea by the end of the season to finish? And Nick, I'm going to start with you. Is Manchester City champions? Where do they end? And is Chelsea getting into the European conversation? Where do they end? Nick?
Man City's going to win this league. I We're not going to get into this conversation unless there's like 3 games left and it's tight still. Um, Chelsea finishes 8th.
Chelsea finishes 8th. Mike, Man City, are they champions this year again? And where does Chelsea finish? Do they get their European football that they so desperately need for their money expenditure?
I have faith where others do not. I ride with the fucking Gunners. Gunners are gonna get it fucking done this year, dude.
God, don't talk to me.
Arsenal's gonna win the
You're doing
goddamn
this to
league.
fuck with me.
Arsenal's winning the fucking
You
league.
son of
I
a
like what I'm
fucking.
fucking seeing. I love it. I love the team. They're the most dynamic football being played at the moment, and they have the clearest identity and they stick to it. Arsenal's are winning the fucking league. Come on. And Chelsea's going to finish in 7th, right out of top 6. I don't think they have enough to go ahead of Aston Villa or Tottenham at the moment, but they will have European football to play for. It just won't be that glamorous of a competition.
You heard it here first, folks. Chelsea in 7th to 8th, and Man City is either winning the league or losing to the Gunners. With the way that Mike predicts it, you can almost guarantee that they are not going to have Arsenal winning it. But until next time, we are getting into Arsenal, Liverpool, and their title challenge. We will see you there. Until next time, peace out. It's been Footy with the Boys.
The Gunners! Out the fucking Gunners!